How do you get your wife's love back? You call or write her, and her replies are dry, or she doesn't have time to talk to you. She's become cold, indifferent, and distant at home, or she's often angry and unhappy. You try to act the way you used to, but it only gets worse. It's time to fix things. There was mutual interest and attraction once, but then they disappeared. There are reasons. A relationship is like a flower. If you don't water and fertilize it, it will wither and die. Why is it important to identify the reasons for the loss of interest and feelings rather than acting at random? There are different solutions for different situations. Depending on the situation, the solution may be a polar opposite from one another. For example, if you pay little attention to her, but she's been asking you to do just that, and then you distance yourself from her, she will get even more upset. On the other hand, when you pay too much attention, sometimes you have to moderate your zeal and deal with other reasons for what is happening. In order to get back the love of your wife, it is important to understand where it has gone. Reasons. 1. Taking too much care of your wife, family, and other moments, but not paying enough attention to yourself. When people do this, they often burn out emotionally because they care for others too much and forget about themselves. Often, the loss of the wife's interest coincides with the fact that the man has forgotten about himself and is spending all his energy on making her happy. 2. It is hard to say warm words and give gratitude, praising a woman that does everything for you. Many women love with their ears, and they expect gratitude and words of thanks when they do something. Often, men pay much attention to the woman and say good things when they first fall in love. But when they get married, they stop doing so. Some men turn silent and have trouble complimenting their wives on what they do and how they look. The others turn into critics of women who are always wrong. In a woman's head, there arises a contrast. Originally, there was a man who praised her, loved her, and thanked her. And now there's a completely different man who criticizes her and never praises. And she wants to distance herself from such a man. Of course, there are times when you can criticize. But if your relationship has turned into scolding and mutually negative comments, and there are very few good words, this is what kills the attraction and interest towards a man. Everything needs balance. If for 10 words of criticism, you say only 1 word of praise or compliment, this is clearly not the balance that was there at the beginning of your relationship, when she fell in love with you. 3. Absence of romantic dates and together time without children. Many couples sacrifice their romantic moments to reach some financial results or other things. They're constantly with children or at work, and then wonder where the feelings and attraction that were there before disappeared to. And the thing is, you used to act differently. Dating and quality time together is what fuels the fire of love. These are very important. 4. The man focuses on his work or business and pays little attention to his wife. He never has time for his beloved. He thinks he works hard for his family, trying the best he can for their sake. However, in addition to material needs, the woman has emotional ones. If these needs are constantly ignored, the woman will become cold and distant. For these 2 points, one of the simple solutions here is to just take the time and spend it with your wife alone. If you've tried it before and it's not enough, then the plan at the end of this video may work. 5. Very depressed emotional state. For men, career and business are usually very important, and when there are setbacks and losses, a man can feel down and depressed for a long time. Usually, women try to help the man first, but there is a limit to everything. When a woman gets tired of waiting for things to change, she loses interest in the man and begins to distance herself from him. 6. Infidelity. The woman feels hurt and resentful when she learns of infidelity, but even that can often be corrected. A woman can believe that a man can change, but you have to show her that you really did change, not just try to talk her into believing that everything will be different. I would like to recommend a great website where I found a lot of information on how to get a wife back. Take a look. xback.how/w. How can you fix everything and get her interest and love back? The first and most important thing is to solve problems and lay the foundation for the restoration of attraction. The danger is that if you are too direct at solving the problems that have already occurred, you may fail. Here is a possible option for your action plan. 1. Take a break for 2 or 3 weeks. It is necessary to reduce contacts to a minimum, to stop swearing or criticizing, especially if there have been a lot of negativity between you recently, and then take time for yourself. 2. To regain her interest and revive her feelings, you need to create a new, attractive version of yourself. The fact is that your wife has certain expectations from you now. She no longer feels feelings for you, so hoping that they'll just pop up out of nowhere is naive. You need to create a list of things that can be improved in you based on your wife's expectations and begin making yourself better based on that list. You need a new and attractive image that your wife will like more. How to analyze mistakes and shortcomings? For this purpose, I like the technique of the 10 last fights. Often, the wife expresses her complaints or grievances during such fights. If you make a list of things that she mentioned, often 7 or 8 out of 10 are the same. For example, a woman feels underappreciated. This means that that's the reason you should focus on in the first place. 3. Next, it is important to correct the shortcomings that were there before. For example, if your wife complains that you are too fat, it is time to get yourself into shape. If your beloved did not like your emotional state, then it is time to see a therapist and deal with your depression and despair. It is important to make both external and internal changes. It will be easier for her to believe in the external, but the internal will be the foundation for your future happy relationship. 4. Show your wife the changes. To show your wife that you've changed, it's not just enough to say, "Honey, I've changed and everything will be different." She's heard it many times before, and she's unlikely to believe it now. An even worse idea is to say that it will happen in the future, not what has already been done. Many men like to talk beautifully about the future, but in this case, the woman is already very disappointed. She wants to see results, not hear beautiful promises. In order to show positive changes, I recommend applying the technique of indirect influence. Its point is to influence a woman through special stories that can be written in messages, social media, or her surroundings. For a detailed description of this technique, with examples and message templates, please see Get Your Wife Back by Sergio Arise and Gary Ideal. You can find it following the link below this video. 5. After you have shown her that you've truly changed and the relationship between you has become warmer, you can apologize for the mistakes that you made. This can also reduce the tension between you. The next point works only after the woman has already believed in your changes, and only a small step needs to be made to make your relationship even better. The point of this technique is to remind her of the good times you've enjoyed together. You can find a more detailed, step-by-step plan on how to get your wife, her attraction, and feelings back in the link below this video. If you have questions, please write them in the comments section, and I'll be happy to answer them. Like and follow our channel. It will help us create more content. I'll also be happy if you recommend topics for my future videos. Good luck in getting your beloved back.